Danielle Hernandez.
I'm Indian.
And I'm Puerto Rican.
I am from New Delhi, India. It is the capital of India. And I moved here at a very young age, and I've pretty much been raised in America.
I was actually born in Offutt Air Force Base in Omaha, and then my family moved to Iowa, and that's where my mom grew up, and we are actually living in the house that my mom grew up in, so it's pretty small and predominantly white.
I grew up in a pretty sheltered environment, actually, and I wasn't exposed to very much racism because there was so much ethnic diversity in my town. So coming here to Iowa State, I was exposed to it a lot more, and in hindsight, now that I think of it, there was a lot of, I guess, color blindness going on, which is basically when you're trying to not be racist, but in the end you kind of are being racist. So one example is the Black History Month, which is an effort to, I guess, acknowledge everything that Martin Luther King and all the famous people of the Black rights movement have done. And Morgan Freeman actually brought up a really interesting point. If we didn't bring that up, if we didn't have 1 month for that, then there would be no racism, because that in itself is a racist concept, separating just 1 month for that history. So I was exposed to that kind of thing a lot because they had a lot of clubs there in high school and college where it was Kenyan club or Indian club and stuff. So that in itself is, I think, a little bit racist.
I would agree. Well, like I said, my town was predominantly white, and clearly, I look white since my mom was white, and in my high school and stuff, I used to get a lot of crap just because my last name is Hernandez. So I'd get all these racist jokes about being Mexican, not even Mexican, stuff like that. I used to get a lot of that. The fact that it was so predominantly white, I guess I stuck out even though I didn't really stick out. And I don't know, it was just weird how that ended up working out. Well, I was super involved in high school in a lot of different activities and stuff, and I've tried to keep that up in college. Obviously, I'm an MVP scholar. I'm also a Hickson scholar. I'm in President's Leadership class and Freshman Council, and I got elected to be secretary for my floor next year. And I'm gonna be a team leader at Destination Iowa State. That should be pretty sweet. A whole bunch of that kind of stuff. Yeah, it should be pretty cool. And I'm going to Australia this summer for study abroad, so that'll be pretty cool too. So just sort of trying to stay involved and keep up the good reputation of MVP scholars. Yeah.
I am, car for one. I have been working towards getting accepted into my major, which is industrial design. At this point, I don't know if I am in it or not, but this entire year has been pretty much all about that. And I am an MVP scholar, which actually I was surprised to get because my grades weren't that good, but I guess one reason why I got it was actually two, because of my ethnicity and because of my awesome essay. That's probably it. Yeah, I'm actually compiling my portfolio right now, so that's pretty much been my whole life.
Me too.
So my legacy, or I guess kind of my goal, is to be able to, I guess, help raise awareness of racial and, even issues in terms of sexual orientation, those kind of things, in terms of society, their flaws. I want to be able to raise awareness about that. And I guess I have kind of been successful because, a lot of my friends, I'll just share with them, what I've seen in the news, and current events and stuff.
Yeah, and things we talk about in class.
Yeah, there's a lot of really interesting stuff we talk about in class. We you get to hear other people's opinions and their stories, and what they feel like is the reality behind a news item, because the media is so flawed, and there's a whole bunch of that kind of stuff that everyone needs to be aware of. So I think that is my main, I guess, aim for college in a way, as an MVP scholar, because there's a lot of people who don't know what's going on in the world, and I'm number one example of that. But it's gotten better, being an MVP scholar, because you're almost made to, confront those issues and like look them up. So that's my thing. So watch the news.
That's good. I guess one of my big goals is to work for Disney someday. It's like an animator and like do storyboarding, design characters and stuff. And I'm not sure if you've noticed, but there aren't any Hispanic princesses. What's up with that? You know?
Yeah, that's true.
So that's kind of one of the things I would like to have a part in, I guess. And like that'd be pretty sweet. Like a lot of them are based on old folklore and stuff, like the Disney movies. So I think it'd be sweet to do like an old Spanish one or an old like Mexican or Puerto Rican. You know, that could be cool. Something like that. And then I guess just I don't know, a lot of the stuff we talked about in class is something I sort of want to leave behind, like educating people on things that they do that they don't realize are hurtful and stuff. Like that whole thing with the just sayings and everything. Like, yeah, I mean, I guess to some people it's not a huge deal, but to others, I mean, it's hurtful and it's not right. It shouldn't be about the people that it doesn't hurt, but the people it does hurt, you know? Yeah, you've got to kind of keep in mind the minority.
But it's also like, as just being MVP scholars, like peers to each other, it's also like you're kind of influencing a lot of people if you make certain remarks. So it's a lot bigger of a deal than you think.
Yeah. But I guess my advice to like future MVP scholars is to just sort of open up in class and everything. Because if you don't, it doesn't really leave you with anything much. I mean, just talking about issues that you're facing as multicultural students of color and everything.
You never know, it might help sometimes. I think it's wise to keep up with the news because you learn a lot of stuff from that. So I've been all about the news and all about the racism and controversial issues.
It's pretty sweet.
Yeah.